Ted Bundy, a Washington state resident, was convicted last year of the kidnap assault of a young woman from Salt Lake City.
After Bundy's convicted of the kidnapping of Carol Durange, detectives have found evidence linking him to the murder of Karen Campbell.
On January 12, 1975, Karen Campbell disappeared from the Wildwood Inn.
Hairs in his Volkswagen Bug were of victims from Colorado and Utah.
And that gave them enough evidence to file on him in Colorado with a first-degree murder and kidnapping charge.
They transferred him. They took him to the jail in Aspen.
At that point, Ted Bundy had become pretty big news. I called the sheriff. I asked him if I could speak with Ted Bundy. We sat in this narrow cell and did the interview.
Okay. You are not guilty.
I'm not guilty. Does that include the time I stole a comic book when I was 5 years old? I am not guilty of the charges which have been filed against me.
He had such a pleasant, thoughtful, calm demeanor. I wasn't at all convinced that he was guilty. He's the most pleasant killer I've ever interviewed.
No man is truly innocent. I mean, we all have transgressed in some way in our lives. I've been impolite, and there are things I regret having done in my life, but nothing like the things I think that you're referring to.
The creeps kind of grew on me when he talked about feeling for the family.
I've been told that you know, the parents of these girls are fairly decent people. I don't know, and I really feel for them because apparently they suffered an incredible tragedy in their lives.
You could tell he was just mouthing the words. They didn't really sink into him.
I feel as much for them as anybody can.
I asked him if his situation made him angry, and he said yes.
I don't like being locked up for something I didn't do, and I don't like my liberty taken away, and I don't like being treated like an animal, and I don't like people walking around and ogling me like I'm some sort of weirdo, because I'm not.
You think about getting out of here?
Well, legally, sure. My class is graduating in about a month. In law school? I'll bet you I know more about law than any of them.
He was assisting in his own defense, so he had a right to go use the law library. This is an old courthouse, and the law library was up on the top floor.
The judge decreed that he didn't have to wear shackles or handcuffs, so he walked about the courtroom and back into the law library as a free man.
Over the months, I'd noticed a number of opportunities to just walk right out. I'd thought a great deal about escape, and I didn't know if I had the guts to do it, quite frankly.
There's a picture of him coming into the building that morning, and he's got a really concentrated look on his face.
He had dressed with an extra layer. He had a sweater under the one he was wearing on the outside, so he was planning to go that day.
The guard went outside for a smoke. The windows were open and the fresh air was blowing through and the sky was blue. And I said, I'm ready to go, and I walked to the window and jumped out. Honest to God, I just got sick and tired of being locked up.
He was gone about 10 minutes before anyone realized. They came out and shouted, "Bundy escaped."
Reporters ran to the courthouse in Aspen because this was such a big deal.
Bundy jumped out of this second-story window at the front of the Pitkin County Courthouse this morning. He was scheduled for a court appearance and apparently had been locked into the law library by sheriff's deputies. At both ends of town, the sheriff's department put up roadblocks.
They were warning people, if you see this man, be sure and call the police.
When was he last seen? Oh, about 10:30 this morning when he jumped from the window.
And then he went up to the mountains in Aspen, and he broke into a cabin. He stayed in the cabin a few days.
Bundy said he walked into Aspen, took this car, which was unlocked and had the keys in the ignition.
He drives through downtown Aspen in a Cadillac.
He was a terrible driver, by the way. And there was a patrol car, and they see this car weaving. This is late. He must be a drunk. Well, he wasn't drunk, it was Ted Bundy. Back he goes.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Here.
You can see him grinning when he's been captured. He always acted like he'd pulled one over on everybody.
He was moved to a facility in Glenwood Springs.
I was one of the staff photographers at the Seattle Times. I was given a chance to photograph this fellow named Ted. He had shackles on, and I could lay on the floor and photograph him in all kinds of different ways. He wanted to be seen. I'm Ted Bundy. Look at me. I'm captured, but in his own mind, I'm not going to be here for long.
In his cell, there was a grate in the ceiling that was not secured.
There was a light fixture that was due to be welded. It had not been welded.
When I visited him in Glenwood, I noticed that he had lost a lot of weight. I'd say he'd lost 20 or 25 pounds. I would think this would have come to the attention of the jailers, perhaps. Why is he doing this?
He used a bunch of his law books and assembled them along with some pillows to make it look as if there were a body in the bed.
Bundy had succeeded in carving a big enough opening in the ceiling of his cell.
He lost so much weight that he was able to wriggle through.
He called through the ducting, just like in a movie. He came down into the closet in the jailer's apartment, knew the jailer wasn't there.
And then he put on civilian clothes. This is astounding stuff. And he gets out into the night, and he's free again.
They woke up in Glenwood Springs and discovered that Bundy had escaped basically 12 hours before.
Did you think it was possible to get out this way?
We've eliminated what we felt at that time, any possible escape route from the roof. However, we were wrong.
These Keystone cops, as the paper would refer to them as, let this guy go again.
What's Garfield County doing to find him?
We're looking everywhere, trains, buses, and the usual thing. I have no idea where he is. People should be very careful, should check on their neighbors, make sure their cars are secure. We're just looking.
I couldn't believe anybody let him escape twice.
This is bad. Ted Bundy is on the loose, and they have no idea where he is.
Once he escaped, he had an opportunity to go somewhere and disappear, but he couldn't even do that. He had to kill again.